Hi, I'm Trey, and this is my YouTube channel, Trey's Myths and Tunes, and my show, Trey's 15 Minutes of Explain. Today, I'm going to talk about how addictions confuse and derail us. You can't understand it. You know they planned it. I'ma set it straight, this Watergate. You think you could rule and steal it all with fear and lies and hate? Well, let me tell you, for y'all who think Satan rules, maybe it's too late. Listen, all of y'all, it's a sabotage. Listen, all of y'all, it's a sabotage. Listen, all of y'all, it's sabotage. Cause I'm a way uplifter. I'm a sifter. I'm a information, wisdom, and love sifter. Uplifter. Cause I'm a way drifter. Uplifter. Cause I'm a way to uplift ya. I'm a drifter. I'm a drift y'all. I'm a drift y'all. How addictions confuse and derail us. You know, people know about me. I've chosen to one physically addictive substance, coffee. The cold brew has really helped to get rid of a lot of the bad. 90% of the acids. So I mostly have cold brew, but even that, especially that, any addiction, it can confuse or derail you. It can let in the zeta or other interdimensional parasites into your fourth dimensional work field, causing confusion, stress at the worst, a panic attack at the worst, not being ready, willing to change or clean your room, not being able to change. In a place like this with a lot of hologramic mind control, you see people get massive OCD, especially these meth heads and people on heroin and even liquor, just simply in walking. You can see them walking around in circles. And this now I see a team of detectives at the health food store because the socialist owner doesn't want to. All the people working there are so nice now that they don't want to physically confront. So they told me. The security guy told me there's going to be a 2 hour limit there now. I'm thinking, well, that's a relief, so I don't have to watch this guy twitching around living in here. But I mean, so bizarre to me how they had to get a team of detectives. But that's a real. You mean because the guy's fairly talented and chill, tries to bang on pans to get money, and so when you meet people with higher IQs or people who are talented who got into meth or liquor, and it's just you can really see. People on the streets, it's just obvious, right? But you got to look at how if you don't believe me on this, if you're still suffering from the impediment of mainstream media, classism, brainwashing. I mean, you can, if you take a magnifying glass to anyone's behavior of any addiction, as Lisa Renee said, it can bring in these entities no matter what in the addiction. So, as I've said before, taking tolerance breaks is a key. Just as Alex Collier said, to see your original vibration. This plant, or if it's cannabis, I mean, think about how well this medicinal plant, it's probably from another star system and it was brought here, is my guess. And I believe the Pleiades. I'm not sure if anyone out there knows that it was brought here to help us. One of the main reasons to help us in this time, not just, I mean, it helps the cancer and other illness to go away temporarily and all that, or almost all of it, but also to help us in this time. And that's why it can be the most mentally addictive thing. And but you have a mental immune system too. Okay, so cannabis can really help with that. However, if you get a strong tolerance, or if you simply are an abusive, addictive personality, it can get to where it barely does anything. If you don't take breaks. Think about the shots narrative. It's like, well, anybody out there, anybody watching this, who really thought that you could somehow get an immunity system from a shot or from particularly one that they forced on you or terrified you into. It's just really all overt. I mean, when you think about it, their intentions. If you take 5 minutes outside of your fear, I mean, their intentions are really overt. Event 201, again, it's all out on the table, and it was. And I was begging you people to have discernment that whole time, but your immunity system is something the Almighty gave you. I mean, it's obviously. If you don't believe in the powers of Ital creation, the powers of self healing, and if you don't understand that the government is okay with me doing this because they can't be idiots about it forever. They know that they can't be in denial about the alien, tragedy of their inner facilities forever. So they're allowing people like me and others to do their thing, and I'm sure that the demonically possessed and the Satanists, the Luciferians, Illuminati are tickled pink when only 5 people watch these videos. So I hope that 400 people watch it, not just from my ego or my self identify my individuation in a healthy way, which I think being popular on my videos is not harmful to my subconscious, because I've been through the damn ringer. I've been through the demiurge's bullshit. I've been through the Santa Cruz curses, inverted fake ass problems, and the antiverse of the and the fourth dimensional parasites giving me fake ass problems in this town for almost 20 years. I don't feel like I deserve. I'm not interested in this existing and suffering thing. It's, to me, that's the brainwashing I bought was that I can't help anyone. Yeah, well, this is what I have to say to all those who thought I was never going to help anyone. You got to respect yourself and others eventually. Okay, so there's a dogma in substance. If you're addicted to alcohol, the dogma is, it's always, you need me. Cannabis or weed. I mean, think about how brilliant that plant is at its own survival and through generations of need, because it heals all these diseases temporarily. I mean, if the big boys or the demiurge or any of these spirits wanted to learn the way that they could have a future, trying to siphon or trying to be a middleman to God, look at cannabis. It does it way better than any of you idiots. It makes people feel like they need it so much because it kills their diseases and makes them connect to the oneness temporarily. And but for me, coffee, the idea you need coffee to function. I have that same old trip. I'm physically addicted, but it does the same as cannabis. It does. It turns out, especially cold brew, does as well as cannabis if it's organic, especially greenhouse organic. It does temporarily help your bodily functions all to work better. But again, the surrogacy, the need. I mean, you have to question, and that's how the addiction can confuse and derail us and cause us drama and trauma, even with just trying to secure. If you don't grow or have your own, like I don't have a legal, I'm not going to grow it here, and so being dependent on anything outside of yourself, your labor, your thought, your belief, your meditation is always going to be possibly dangerous. Okay, and cannabis is no different. Coffee is no different. They may be ubiquitous in the world, and they are, but it still doesn't change the fact that there's a danger in the idea of outside need. Okay, so tolerance breaks, facing yourself. Remember your original self. Addictions and routines can prevent spontaneous adventures until you learn to create space. Say, like if I got stoned before I make a video, you could say, well, I'm stealing my confidence and my courage from that, or my helping expand my creativity. Sure, but it's an example of how you can make your addiction to even a beer or a coffee or whatever. You can, instead of using it to cause yourself to be introverted, you can use it to connect. You can use your habits to destroy their fake neediness, creating situations by Or like for me, like if you see how little other people need to get high compared to me, it's like, well, it'll increase your desire to take that tolerance break. You see, so when you reach out and you start to change your routines, then you learn to create space for new experiences. Like for a lot of people, for me, often leaving Santa Cruz is it's all this stuff. The availability and inexpensive organic food and all that, and super inexpensive cannabis, and the nurturance of the kind, loving people. But the fake housing crisis, the fake cost of living, the fake inverted, all the people who are in the Illuminati and the inverted beliefs around me certainly makes me agree to want to leave it. So it's the Santa Cruz, the greatly good, the bad, and the ugly druggies, and how it taught me the system is fake in both good and evil ways. The system is fake in both good and evil ways. Socialism has a bunch of enablers. California will help you or try to make it easy, basic income. But you know what? Would you want to be a big baby and have a mommy take care of you? Because that's what you'll find. But to try to be a man, you'll have to compete. To try to be a man or a woman, you'll have to compete with a shit ton of other people who have more money, more resources, and a better history than you. But to just be a big old child in an adult body, oh, California, come to California, and we'll feed you and then feed off your loose while you're always secretly re-traumatizing yourself by being an idiot who won't participate in your self-healing at all, or your life, or helping others at all. So it's the fake in a good way to these people who are unaware of it until they get sick, mentally ill, and kill themselves somehow. Um, you have to learn to be your own parent, remembering the forgotten needs of your own child. In order to be your own parent, you also have to be your own inner child, and know what that means and what it wants. And I'm still working on that. Coffee, alcohol, cannabis, psilocybin can't do it for you. You must regain the will, with or without quitting, with or without your ability to stop or take a tolerance break or quit your drug, your addiction, or move away. If you can't, it's going to be a self punishment, like it or not, because these dark ones have built self punishment into us. So moving, using the reward system with your brain can really help. Like, not letting yourself smoke a bowl until you clean your room, or not letting yourself have that beer till you get off work. If you usually have it in the morning, if you're terribly alcoholic or whatever, changing it around so that it's a reward system. Don't even give up your addiction. Just you can make it a reward system, and then it changes your relationship to it. All addictions can cause inflammation. Cannabis, you'd have to be really careful about the quality, and how it was grown. And for me, greenhouse or sun grown, more or greenhouse would be the most ideal to not cause any inflammation or other problems. I mean, the mRNA, blood clot, hots. It's like, why? Myocarditis, children, and famous athletes, graphene dioxide, self-hating hand, loss of free will, heart awareness, massive cognitive dissonance and incoherence, impossible to ascend, and confusion. Um, how best plants and how the best plants and places can steal your identity through heavenly acquisition. In other words, when you think Santa Cruz is heaven, um, getting it, people who are addicted to being told what to do. These programs, I'm saying, the people who took these experiments could become lost in self denial. Is what's going to happen with a lot of them. It's so sad. But with other people who think cannabis is going to do it for them, it's like Mark Passio said: you can become lost in the last cul-de-sac before enlightenment, because cannabis has to do it for you. Okay, when you rely primarily, you have to learn to rely primarily, as Wim Hof said, I get high on my own supply. Um, take baby steps to maturity, and you can do it. You can learn to not let your addictions confuse and derail you, even if you keep them. If you like this, subscribe and have a wonderful day, or create a great one, babies and adult loving beings.